Hello and welcome to another What Sold video. This is Moxie, by the way, if you're new here. I am going to share with you everything that sold on eBay from April 8th to April 14th, so the second week of April, and I'm sharing eBay sales because that is the only platform I made sale on. So I'm going to scoot over here, lean up against this wall, and get into it. First piece is this Men at Work vinyl record. I haven't really found any records recently worth reselling, but that's okay because I am now set up to resell records. I listened to this so many times, especially during my whatnot. This has the iconic Man Down Under song as well as the other one that I can't think of off the top of my head. But I paid $2 for this. It sold for $11.87. Perfectly happy that I got to enjoy this and then also got to get it to a new home. This is from that big record haul that I did a while ago. I just came into an amazing collection at Goodwill and could not believe I got all of them for $2. I made so much money off of that haul. I will list it up above for you to peruse if you would like to watch that and see exactly what I got besides this awesome classic. This is a vintage 90s Jeep long sleeve shirt. I picked this up because I know Jeep people really love Jeeps. They have a whole, there's a whole Jeep culture. And so I thought that this would sell faster. It took over a year to sell, but it did finally sell for $18.59 on an offer. I talked about before where I will pick up certain authors no matter what condition the books are in. Well, that's not true. If they're literally swollen with mildew, I'm not going to pick them up, or falling apart, I'm not going to pick them up. But if they are in still good readable condition, even in their pre-owned, I will pick them up. C.S. Lewis is one of those. Now, I will not pick up his Chronicle of Narnia's books unless I can find all of them at the same time, because there are so many reprints of that. It's also super oversaturated that unless I find a nice box set, I'm not going to really pick that particular set of books up. But his other works I will, and this is a set of 3 books: The Problem of Pain, Letters to an American Lady, and The World's Last Night by C.S. Lewis. He wasn't just, the author for the Chronicles of Narnia. He has other books as well as several papers or treatises on his philosophy, and well, he's just a good author, just in general. This sold for $14.87. I have 75 cents into these books because I found them all at the bins. This is a thank you to Taylor. She actually went thrifting with me at the bins a while ago, and she handed me this hat saying, hey, I saw that these actually sell pretty well. She gave it to me. I was like, sure, I love selling hats. This actually was a bins pickup, and I put this up on Whatnot. Nobody bought it on Whatnot, but it did sell on eBay for my full asking price of $12.87. So Taylor, thank you for handing this to me. This is vintage Y2K Carhartt. It sold for $20 very quickly. And you might be surprised that it sold for $20, and that is because, one, it had multiple condition issues, and it still sold very fast. So I'm very happy that this did sell and it sold for $20. This is a Bowden piece. I am getting pickier about what Bowden I pick up, but this had several things going for it. It was a beautiful floral, abstract floral. It was a tall size, and it was a size 16. So with all of those, I decided to pick this up. I paid $5 for this at a thrift store. It sold for $15. This is another book that I put up on Whatnot. It didn't sell there, but it did sell on eBay for $12.87. I paid 25 cents for this at the bins. It's a horror anthology that was put together for a charity. I don't remember what charity, but it sold for my full asking price, and I paid 25 cents for it, so that's amazing. This is Cinnamon Roll, which is a Sanrio character from the Hello Kitty universe. I don't really pick up plush that often because plush normally gets very picked over at the bins, and as I talked about before, they don't do really plush rotations. In the 5 years I've been going to the bins, I've seen 2 plush rotations the entire time. So like I said, it's not often that it happens. But I picked this up. I paid a quarter for this, and it sold for $3. I know that's not a whole lot, but it's a super easy listing, and yeah, it's, $2 that I made. Happy to make that happen, especially, within a couple months. This is another vintage Y2K piece. This is from J. Crew. It is a size XL, and you can see why I picked it up because it's green. It was a nice linen, loose fit shirt. Again, this is the time of year for linen, so if you have linen in your death pile, maybe go ahead and get it listed. Also, Y2K is super popular. I will definitely preface this by saying that if you have a loose baggy 90s fit shirt, please put loose baggy fit somewhere in the listing, because otherwise somebody's going to buy a size large and wonder why it is like 4 inches bigger than what the normal size is, because that's normally what the baggy loose fit, it's between 2.5 to 4 inches larger than the modern size. But this sold my full asking price of $24.87, and I am elated about that. This is The Secret Garden. Absolutely gorgeous book. Gorgeous book. I love The Secret Garden. It's one of my favorite, like, not young adult. This is more like middle school age reading level. But I have a warm place in my heart for this book. I thought about keeping it, but I decided to let it move on to a new home. Sold it for $10. I paid 50 cents for that at the bins. This is a Vineyard Vines shirt. I don't pick up Vineyard Vines very often anymore because it just sits for me. This is a Tucker plaid. It's pink and blue. It sold for $10. I paid $5 for this at a thrift store. Moxie, you are shedding so bad. I paid $5 for this at a thrift store. I'm just glad it's gone because I had that for 2 years and it just needed to go. So when I got a $10 offer, I'm like, yes, yes, you can have that. This is another book I listed on Whatnot. It didn't sell on Whatnot, but it did sell on eBay for my full asking price of $9.87. I paid 50 cents for this at the bins. This is Banebreaker by Jacqueline Carey. Or Jacqueline Carey, however you want to say that. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but it's just a fantasy book, but it was in really good shape, and like I said, all my genre fiction goes up on Whatnot first, and then if it doesn't sell on Whatnot, it goes up on eBay. This is Battle at Bull Run, which is a history book by William Davis. This is a first print. Some history books are valuable, especially when you get the first editions of them. This sold for, again, for my full asking price of $9.87. God, it's just sheets of hair coming off of her. $9.87. I'm going to vacuum this spot once I finish filming this. It's just so much hair. $9.87. Paid 50 cents for this at the bins. This is from that big book buy I did last year. I paid 10 cents for this book. I would not have bought it otherwise. I don't really have good luck selling poetry unless it's in new condition, regardless of the author. I have no idea who this person is, but it sold for $11.87, so I made $6 off of a book that I have no frame of reference for. It was just part of that big book buyout, and I listed it, and it sold. This I found at the bins. I paid 50 cents for this. This is a vintage copy of Puss in Boots by Charles Perrault. It's absolutely gorgeously illustrated. You can see here, this is the front dust jacket. Gorgeous illustrations. Beautiful book. Beautiful kids book. Sold for $9.87. Again, I paid 50 cents for this at the bins. This I paid $1 for. This is a 1991 copy of Color Me Bad. You know, I roller skated to the songs on this album so many times when I was little. Sold for $6.18. So I didn't really make a whole lot off this CD, but I'm just happy that I found a new home for it. And I still made just a teeny tiny bit of profit. This is also from the big book buyout, so I have 10 cents into this book. It is Marks of Identity by Juan Gustoy. I don't know how to pronounce this, I'm so sorry, but it sold for $7.87, and again I have 10 cents into this. Another set of C.S. Lewis books that I sold. Again, I have 25 cents into each of these books. This is why I talk about, you know, if I can find, I have a like catalog of authors that I will do this for. C.S. Lewis, like I said, is one of them. This is a set of The Screw Tape Letters, Miracles, and Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. You can see here, like, none of these books are the same size. They're not the same kind of printing. They're not even from the same decade, and yet they still sold because it was a lot. Also sold for my full asking price of $14.87. So again, I'm making $10 off of a set of books I paid 75 cents for. So perfectly happy to do that all day long. Another book I picked up at the bins. This sold on an offer for $10.94. This was a gorgeous 1980s copy of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I pick up most leather-bound books I find at the bins in good shape, especially in these beautiful classic editions. So this was great. Born Free is a book about a lioness and her life. I found some paperback copies of this book, like vintage paperback copies of this book, that sold, so I figured a 40th anniversary hardcover would also sell, and I was correct. I paid 50 cents for this at the bins and it sold for $11. Happy to turn 50 cents into $5 in less than a month. This is a vintage 90s piece. This came from that estate sale that I got kicked out of. If you haven't watched that video, I will link that video up above as well. This is a gorgeous 90s like abstract print, like loose baggy fit, really cool piece. That's why I'm so glad I saved it. I paid $1 for this at that estate sale. It sold for $15.90 on an offer. Another book from the bins, I paid 50 cents for this. It sold for $7.87. It's A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. You know, I'm selling Christmas themed books in April, which is perfectly fine with me. And again, another beautiful hardcover. Hardcover classics are always easy sells for me when they're in good condition. Another bins find. This is a set of 4 Nissan Altima manuals that I found at the bins. This actually would have had a 5th little booklet and a like little case, like when you bought a 2018 Altima sedan from the dealership. What will happen is that dealers will buy these on eBay to put in the car when they do like a trade-in. So that way they have like all the appropriate manuals and stuff when they go to resell it. But this is something I found at the bins. I paid $1 basically for all 4, 25 cents each. And they sold literally the day I listed them for $15. So made 10 bucks out of $1. Perfectly happy to do that. Another book, this is a 90s book about the U-boat, Second World War. This sold for $9. I paid 50 cents for this at the bin. Again, these history books, hardcovers can do well. This is a shirt I originally picked up for myself at the bins, but it was sadly too tight here in the shoulders region. So it sold for $7.08 on offer on eBay. These little like Old Navy Luxe Basics do sell for me, but normally in this like $7 to $10 range. But if I get them at the bins, they're super lightweight. So for less than $1, I'm happy to do that. They're also just super easy to list too. And the last book I have to share with you is this Shaman Warrior Volume 3 manga book. This I found at the this I found at the Restore. I paid $1 for this at the Restore. I don't normally pick up paperback books for $1 or more unless I know I can sell them for a decent profit. And I would say selling this one for $19.87, which is more than it originally sold for, is a pretty good profit. This is a pretty graphic novel, not too, no pun intended. It is an adult manga with a lot of adult themes. It is also no longer in print, so that is why this is valuable. I always look up any manga whenever I find it out in the wild. It has sold very well for me, but it's also really rare for me to find it. So I'm very happy that I saw this. I was right place, right time, because they had put out several volumes and I picked up a bunch of them and they have almost all sold by now. So this was a great find, and that is the last time I have to share with you. I hope this was interesting for y'all. If you notice, it's a lot of book sales. About half of my sales, a little bit more than half of my sales in this video are book sales, and that is because even when sales are slow, books help keep me afloat. You know, my ideal store, which is what I'm working towards, is about 2/5 of my business being books, 2/5 of my business being clothing, and then the other 5th everything else. That is where I'm trying to get to. That will keep me throughout all seasons, hopefully. But yeah, that's what I'm going towards. That's what I'm working towards, and that seems to be helping keep me going. But thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this is just what I'm selling. If you have no desire to sell books, don't sell books. If you have no desire to sell vintage, don't sell vintage. You know, you do you, but this is me doing me, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye! Bye. You covered me in hair, baby girl. I'm absolutely... Can you guys even see? Look at how much hair there is. I have basically a whole other cat on my body right now. That's my fault for wearing black.